Let's start to study about human versus animal communication. Human versus animal communication was first time defined in the article the name design features of language, which was defined by the linguist Hackett. Charles Hackett was born in 1960 and he died in 2000. So, from his article in 1966, it had mentioned that the design feature listed below are found in every language on which we have reliable information, and each seems to be lacking in at least one known animal communicative system. N- Number one in design features of language mentions that all communication system have the following features. Number one, mode of communication. It is to be known as a medium. Medium includes audio, visual, or most humans. Sometimes because the mode of communication can be verbal, audio means verbal, visual means something with the pictures we see and form a decision or tell something about that. Visual special for sign language users. Sometimes people use signs, and these visual signs also give the message, take the message. Chemical olfactory for some plants and animals. Chemical use also shows sometime the communication that it should grow the plants and it is better for the animals. Electric current for telephone, computer, etc. Number second is semanticity. Communication semanticity means communication signals have meaning semantically. It whatever people may communicate, animal may communicate that form meaning based on semantics or sometimes pragmatics even pragmatically or semanticity. We perceive the meanings. Interchangeability, this is the third design feature, which means participant can be transmitters and receivers. Means we can interchange the dialogues. Sometime either encoder, sometime decoder, sometime transmitter, sometime receiver the message, and then act on it. When we receive the message given by someone, uh, for example, my friend write a letter, means he wrote a letter, he encoded and sent to me, and I received that. So whatever the message it is again a form of communication, and we can call it interchangeability. Cultural transmission, it is with human being that culturally we can transmit the messages. System gets passed along through interaction with users of the systems. Fifth is design feature of the human and animal communication is arbitrariness. It can show that no logical relationship can be observed between signals, signs, and what they represent their meaning. For example, sign, we see the tree, we can see tree and say sign, or we may make a draft tree diagram. We can say tree, bomb, arbor, and meaning is the tree. Arbitrary signs may be contrasted with iconic signs, which bear some resemblance to whatever it is that they signify. For example, human, it is you see skating in the ocean or the tree. The man also is diving in the river or pond and swimming. And this is something the animal roads are taking out the sound. Note sign languages tend to be highly iconic, although they can display arbitrariness too. Because now, if we find out this sign, we see that a person is either on the small ship or on skating in the water or on the ice. because this sign shows that he is standing and he or she both, and this also a person, he or she is swimming, and this open mouth of an animal shows that he or she animal is going to raise the sound. So arbitrary is because of this. Number six is displacement, him, in which we can say that human language refers to the past, present, and future. Last night at school, I'm flying to Paris next week. Things that do not exist in real life, for example, Superman, Batman, Santa Claus. Likewise, animal communication can produce immediate movement. For example, bee language, dance routine to the communicate the location of nectar. Number seven is productivity. Humans are capable of creating new expressions for new objects, infinite. A language user can manipulate his or her linguistic resources, open-endedness. Animals have limited set of signals to choose from fixed reference, which cannot produce any new signal to describe novel experiences. Number eight, cultural transmission. We acquire language with other speakers, not from parental genes. Means culturally, where we are living, we can adopt the looking at people, and we can adopt something. The first language is acquired in a culture. For example, a Korean child living in USA can speak. Maybe will culturally US the culture of USA can be adapted to the Korean child, and he or she can prefer more to the English language of America instead of the Korean, because he was born bred over there. Animal communicated signals are produced instinctively, means again looking at their genes or their animals, how they are doing that. Number nine, design feature is the duality. Two levels are being spoken. Number one, distinct sound and distinct meaning, in which we can explain that physical level at which we can produce individual sounds. For example, na, ba, I. Meaning level, when we produce sounds in combination. For example, nib, bin. Now, this is meaning level. Physical level, these are the letters like whether consonant or the vowel, like N, B, I. Economical feature in duality is, can be spoken is animal communicated signals are fixed, sorry, and cannot be broken into parts. Mu is not me, E, O, W. We cannot broken it. We say meow, 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 like the cat is sound. So reflexity, humans are able to reflect. They are able to talk about or reflect on language itself. Without this ability, we could not even talk about the other properties of language. Dogs are able to bark at each other, but they are probably not barking about barking itself. Well, gentle ladies and gentlemen, after 10 design features, what I mentioned, now we may think about animal communicative sounds are closely correlated with their meanings. For example, think of a cat, garish, meow, screech, purr. It does not use a variety of sounds to express these conditions. These sounds always mean the one thing they mean. Barbet monkeys have 36 cries of warning for different predators, but an animal's vocabulary is finite, very limited. Animal has very limited vocabulary. They cannot take out different even sounds. Another example, for example, honeybee dance language. Bees use intricate combination of dance movements and tail waggling to communicate the location of nectar, food, sources to other bees in the hive. The dance is the figure 8 with movements of the tail to indicate location in relation to the azimuth of the sun. Speed of eagle indicates distance. Has been studied by Janda in 1973 to have linguistic syntactic properties. However, the language is finite, cannot create new moves or vowels to indicate up, for example. There were some experiments done in order to observe human versus animal languages. For example, some researchers devoted their time to teach a chimpanzee how to use human language, but they become not successful. For example, in 1930, in Goa, was was able to understand 100 words. Goa is the name of chimpanzee, 100 words, but did not produce any other. In 1940, Vicky, another chimpanzee name is given, produced purely articulated version of Mama, Papa, and Cup. But the result is that non-human primates lack physically structured vocal tract needed to produce sounds. Because we have vocal tract like that one is totally different is compared to the animals. Now, Washo used another animal name of the chimpanzee, used a version of the American Sign Language. He was raised like a human. After 3.5 years, came to use more than 100 words. Like Washo spoke airplane, baby, banana, combine them to produce sentences, more fruit, means combined words. Sarah and Lana, they both use word symbols. Use a set of plastic shapes that represent words to communicate with humans. They were trained to associate shapes with objects or actions. They were capable of producing sentences. For example, Mary gave chocolate to Sarah. Sarah and Lana, now these are again the names of chimpanzees given by the experimenters, by the scientists who gave them the names and produced. The controversy is that can animal speak human like language? I'd say no. Animal produce a particular behavior in response to particular stimulus or noise, but do not actually understand what the sentence mean. Now, if we perceive that uh, mm, uh, animals use their five senses to acquire information about their environment. These five senses are taste, touch, vision, hearing, afflection, means smell. These can be five senses can be used by the animals. So they communicate by types of insect of communication like visual communication, chemical communication, tactile communication, acoustic communication, but based on animals' sense, five senses. For example, the if I say the sound of a well-trained parakeet. Parakeet. What is parakeet? Parakeet is a small parrot saying the words good morning. Mostly you see people train the parrots. They speak up hello, good morning, and even raise the name. May sound barely discernible from a human, but parakeet do not talk in the same way humans do. Parakeet do not have vocal cords like this one. We have the vocal cords, but the parakeet means parrots do not have such vocal cord like human being. So instead, they speak by directing the airflow to go through the muscles in their throat, recreating pitches and sound that they hear in everyday life. Although parakeets means parrots may be considered intelligent birds because they can speak, they are only mimicking phrases they have previously heard and do not know the meaning of these phrases. A well trained parakeet means parrot can be taught to say specific sounds, phrases prompted by hand, motion, or vocal cue. Parakeets do not have real conversation and usually can only repeat a handful of sounds or phrases. Whatever is the owner going to teach, they only raise that. They, from their side, they cannot speak up.